Have you ever thought about how much of your life depends on your car? For most of us, we hop in, turn the key, or push the start button and head to work, take our kids to school, make it to the doctor's appointments, or simply run errands without giving it a second thought. But imagine if tomorrow morning your car wouldn't start. One unexpected repair could mean missing work. Missing work can mean missing a paycheck. And for many families, that can quickly become a much bigger crisis than just a broken vehicle. That's why I'm excited about today's conversation. My guest is Joe Smith, the founder of Shift Garage, a nonprofit that's helping people overcome one of the biggest barriers to stability, and that is reliable transportation. We're going to talk about how Shift Garage got started, the lives being changed through this unique ministry, and why sometimes restoring hope begins with something as simple as getting someone's safely back on the road. I am Chris Clymer, and this is Love Your Neighbor podcast. All right, Joe, so before we get into it, I do have to I got to be a little transparent up front. There is a reason why Joe is the first podcast. Simply that's because we've been really close friends. He's probably my best friend for a little over a decade, to make it sound super old. Joe and I worked at a church in Rapid City, South Dakota. And where I came on as the storyteller, Joe was already running Shift, I believe. So Joe, welcome. Thank you so much for taking the time today to be here.
Absolutely. This is super cool that we're doing this. And we were talking before that it's kind of interesting. We get to set what this thing's going to be. I don't know if you've noticed that we've started to look like one another. I'm looking at these two cameras right now. I feel like if I had the glasses and the hat... Yeah.
The gray is coming in now. I'm gonna help clarify because we had a little problem when I came out and visit last time. I am actually older than Joe.
And you wouldn't think it, would you?
You wouldn't think it, but I am actually older than Joe.
It's true. Yeah. When you're worried about gray, and when somebody calls me gray, I'm like, oh, they didn't say white, so it's pretty good,
right? We're not too far
just
off.
Hanging on to gray. Yeah.
Oh my goodness! All right, Joe, can you tell us about yourself before Shift Garage?
Yeah. So I grew up in a pastor's home. I had no chance, basically, is where this is going. I was a pastor's kid and a homeschooler. Like weird on weird for sure. Didn't have a ton of friends because I couldn't make them at school, right? It was my sister was the only option. And then we lived in a few different places. Born in Oklahoma, we lived in West Virginia for 7 years, Kansas City for 7 years, and then I finished kind of my time at home in Montana. But the kind of the main part of my childhood from like 7 to 14 was Kansas City in a really, what was the term they used to use back then? Cannot think now. For people that were like yuppies, I think we haven't heard that term in a while, but back then it was a big term. So yuppies, everybody drove a Honda Accord lease and they lived in a neighborhood, and the church property was on a corner and the other three corners were all like neighborhoods. Like Amber Meadows or something. I think that was literally one of them. And so all the other kids lived in one of those and had a community pool and an ice cream truck and like all the things that you would think. Yeah. And I lived on kind of like a commercial property. So it was very different. And I mostly saw my friends on like Sunday at church. It was kind of a thing. I had, I don't know if they would agree. I don't know who's going to see this. I had what me and my friends would all have considered very strict parents, with a shorter curfew than most people, and I couldn't do most of the things that other kids could do because of the strictness of my parents. And so what was interesting for me, we never really had a conversation, but when I got my keys at 16, got my own car, my parents let me do a lot of things that I could go. We were about 45 minutes away from Billings, and there wasn't anything. The closest movie theater, McDonald's, everything was in Billings. And all of a sudden I could just go whenever I wanted to. And I didn't have so much a curfew anymore, and gave me a lot of freedom. And I think it's one of the reasons that I really enjoy giving people the freedom of reliable transportation today, is because that was kind of an unspoken thing in my life, that keys meant freedom in my teenage world. And so I think that kind of carried over. I like to tell people this. When somebody would ask me what I wanted to be when I grew up, I would say I wanted to be an ambulance because I wanted to be a car and I
Right.
wanted to help
Some
people.
people,
And I was like,
absolutely.
this is the perfect thing.
But you could have been a
So
fire
I
truck.
I could have been a fire truck. Yeah, I don't know if that just didn't cross my mind that it would help. And I don't have any medical skills whatsoever.
None.
My sister's a nurse. She's been a nurse for a long time. She has got all that. But I always have been a car person, always
I was gonna say,
fascinated.
were you
And it's
always interested in
interesting,
working on cars?
always. And my dad hates it. My dad can't stand working on cars. He saves up projects for when I go home for Christmas, and then I fix cars while I'm at his house. So I did not get it from him. I just have always had it. It's in my blood. And so wanting to help people and be a car, which I didn't accomplish that goal, I guess, but I got really as close as you can to kind of my childhood dream, which is super cool. But
Yeah.
you asked me about before that. I went to school to be a pastor. Everybody in my family is pastors. My dad's a pastor. My uncle's a pastor. His sons are all pastors. My grandpa was a traveling evangelist and did the sawdust floor campground
Oh
thing.
wow.
So my dad grew up in a camper trailer most of his life. He didn't grow up in a town most of the time. They were on the road. So it's
So is it
definitely the
like
family
the
business.
is it like the Steve Martin movie A Leap of Faith?
I haven't seen that.
You
So I
haven't
don't
seen
know.
that? You should see that. He's
Sorry.
a traveling evangelist. Like you should totally see that.
Yeah. Yeah. Old school. Think like
Yeah.
60s and 70s. So
Like setting up the tent,
yeah.
getting like basically a
Yeah.
carnival but for church, right? Like
Prayer meeting. Yeah. The whole
yeah.
thing. All the
Yeah.
way. Old school. So that was my dad's upbringing, and I went to school to be a pastor, and I took a church out of college up in Montana, a very tiny church. So it said the elevation and then the population, I think the sign said 18. And most of those people didn't live in the city. So we were killing it, man. With my family of
Right.
five, we had
You
25 on Sunday morning in a town of 18. Nobody wanted to compete with me on percentages. Like we were nailing it. So did that for a while and went to a conference with the pastor that pastors the Wesleyan Church in Rapid City. We went to a conference and I discovered a car ministry. I'd never heard of such a thing. I didn't know that existed, but it was crazy. As soon as I saw it, I went, well, that's what I'm going to do with my life. I'm going to run a car ministry. And literally, the conference was in Chicago. By the time we got back to Rapid City, the pastor in Rapid City and I had made a plan for me to leave the church I was at, come work for him, and start this car ministry. And like a 12-hour ride, we had done the whole thing. And I had to tell my wife, like, hey, this is the thing that happens next. So
So who's
that's what we
influenced
did.
you? Who's influenced you the most over the years?
I mean, I have to give a lot of credit to Cars Ministry out of Willow Creek Church outside of Chicago, because it's the first time that I heard of that concept. I'm going to say, obviously, with my parents, I was in Montana. You grow up with a strong work ethic for sure, and I was homeschooled, but always driven. So I would go get the lawn mowing contracts before the other kids were out of school, right? Like
Right.
I could work short and then go pass out flyers and stuff. And by the time school got out for summer, I already had all the lawns in town.
Just a monopoly.
Yeah, just a monopoly on it. It's a good deal. Then I had some of my friends working for me. So always been entrepreneurial. That pastor and his wife in Rapid honestly helped me through a lot of different stages and things I needed to overcome to kind of get to where I am now. So I would say all of those things have contributed. I've also sought out mentors at different levels and gone, hey, I need to get to the next one. John Maxwell says you will be exactly like the people you hang out with in 10 years. And so
Sure.
while I don't think you should necessarily exclude people from your friend group, you're not cool enough. You're not kind of the
Right. Yeah.
direction I'm
You
going.
can't. You're
But
not. Yeah.
I do
Yeah.
think you can strive to pull in some people above you and try to help you kind of the next level. And that's what I've done. So
Absolutely. So I'm assuming it's going to be very early on with this next question, because you already talked about how growing up you wanted to be an ambulance. But when did serving others become so important to you?
yeah, that's a good question. I feel, to be honest with you, I struggle about this internally sometimes because I wonder how much credit a person deserves for doing things that just are the way that they're naturally wired. It never
Sure.
occurred to me not to. And I mean, it's an interesting thought. I just was thinking yesterday about people that are in jail and trouble for certain things, and you think, but do you think they want to be like that? Do you think they want
Right.
to want those things? They just do, and they're not dealing with it well. Aren't we
Right.
fortunate that that doesn't come, that's not how we're, I don't know, this is getting deeply theological now, so I have to be careful what I say, because a certain comment means you believe five other things,
No,
and I don't want
right,
to get
right,
down
right,
this
right.
trail, but aren't we lucky that we're not naturally wired to want things that are illegal? A lot of us,
Sure.
like,
Right.
I just felt like it just didn't occur to me not to do that. If you can make a living and help people doing the thing you're passionate about, why wouldn't you do that? It never occurred to me to open a for-profit garage. It just, I don't know. It's just not how I'm wired, I guess. So I do, but like I said, I struggle with that. Like, you run into somebody, you tell them what you do, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, that's an amazing thing you're doing for people," and you're like, "It is. I mean, I never thought about doing anything else." So
Right. Right.
if this is what God wants you to do and you don't do it, He will bug you until you do it. And
Right.
that's kind of
Exactly. Yeah.
what happened with my original call to the ministry. I saw my whole family do it, and I said, "Yeah, I'm not doing that." And God said, "Oh yeah, well,
Right.
let's try something else and see what happens." And you just
So
get beat down enough, you're like, "Well, I guess I am
I
good.
guess
Yeah,
I
let's
gotta
go
do
to
it,
pastor
right? Well,
school." Like,
right, yeah. So where did the idea for Shift Garage originally come from? I know you sort of talked about, and I'm going to say his name, when you and David were driving back from conference. For
yeah,
those of you who don't know, David is the lead pastor at Fountain Springs Church in Rapid City.
yep, great dude.
So, but when did it, like, is that when the idea started?
Well, it's a good thing you bring him up, because I actually ultimately have to give him credit. So I had explained, I don't remember if it was right up against it, like on the trip, but I had three calls on my life for sure that I knew. I knew I was supposed to be a pastor. I believed I was supposed to plant a church. And then later I got a call that I was supposed to do something with cars. And I was struggling. I was a pastor at a local
Yep.
church. And we actually had tried to plant before I took that church, and things didn't work out with the person we were planting with. They did
Okay.
something they weren't supposed to, and so the whole thing got thrown off the rails.
Gotcha.
And then, but my call to plant came, we were visiting my wife's family in Wisconsin, going to a church we had never been to before, and they were talking about how their VBS went that week before. And I'm furiously writing down notes about God calling me to plant a church, and I'm like, well, this must be real, because it has nothing to do with what we're talking about at all.
Right.
These
Right.
kids are talking about Jesus loves me, this I know, and I'm like, I gotta plant a church, and I'm like writing all this stuff down. That was maybe the time the most I felt in my life like God is talking to you right now, and I
Right.
don't know why that was the moment that needed to happen, but
Right.
it was super weird, and so it was kind of a confirmation for me. But then to do something with cars, I literally, you're gonna laugh at this, but you know the Christian group, the Power Team, the big
Yeah.
muscle lifter
Yeah.
guys
Yeah.
that
Yeah. They've
tear
like
up in a
bend the
phone
book
book?
or whatever, and
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
they spray people with pop cans, and I'd been to them twice, and I was like, is it like that? Is it like a
Right.
car show that then we talk to people about Jesus? Is it a traveling thing? Like, I don't know. I'm like, maybe I'm a pastor till I'm 50 and then I retire and I go do this car thing. I just don't
Right.
know.
Right.
So on that trip, David was the guy that said, hey, I think you're supposed to plant a car ministry. I think that's how you pastor.
Yep.
It's starting a ministry, and it's car related. I think these are, and it's like literally like it clicked, and I was like,
Yeah.
that's exactly what it is. That's perfect. And so that was part of the reason why it was so easy to make that switch. Some of the, things are cliche because they're true, and we say them over and over again. But
Right.
I'd been at the church I was at for 2.5 years, and I felt like the shepherd of those people. Like in a way, their spirituality is kind of a little bit my responsibility to
For
show
sure.
them the right things. There were some people that came in at prayer meetings that we went to that had some false teachings, and I'm protecting my flock from that. And you really do feel like a shepherd. I don't know that I felt it as much as I did until I knew I was leaving, and I was like, oh man, I feel like I know
Right.
I'm supposed to go do this, but this is my flock. Like I've been
Right,
with
right,
these
right.
guys for a little while, so I want to make sure they get handed off correctly to the next person. And I didn't want to be two things when I went up there. I didn't want to be the kid fresh out of college that knew everything and came in
Yep.
and changed it all. That church was
Right.
almost 100 years old,
Oh
and
wow.
I didn't want to be a guy that just came in and left. I wanted to be
And
established for a while.
unfortunately,
So at 2.5 years, I was like, I'm kind of on the verge of that. Like I've been around, but
right.
it feels new if you're a 100-year-old church. So I
Correct.
struggle with that too. But I really have to give David credit. He was the one that was like, I think this all does make sense if you
Yeah. We
do
just got to put it
this.
in the
So
right spot.
I hope he was right because I've been doing it for 15 years now. So if he was
Right?
wrong, I'm way
Can
behind
you?
on whatever the other thing is I'm supposed to be
Right, right.
doing.
You gotta work on that. Can you remember the exact moment you realized this needed to exist? Like, and I'm not saying like that
Um,
you like this, but like that moment where you're like, oh my goodness, this is yes, this is it may be the first car that you fixed. It could be you saw someone on the side of the road, or just you heard some things.
Sure. I think there was several, it kind of confirmed over time. So in that initial conversation, David was talking about Rapid City is a unique place. It's very touristy because of Mount Rushmore and Sturgis. At the time, the oil boom was going, and there were a lot of families. Sometimes it was just a husband and wife. Sometimes it was one kid. But based in Rapid, where he went up to North Dakota on the rigs, it's also where the Ellsworth Air Force Base is, and there's a lot of military families that are being relocated. And he said, I think one of the reasons this would work well for us is because it's a hard place to make a living. You don't make a ton of money, but everything costs a bunch. And we
Yeah,
have higher than average divorce rates, which means higher than average single moms and kids without both parents. And so that we knew right away was going to be needed. But as I started developing it and we put together a plan, like what's this going to look like? How's it going to work? I started to realize, gosh, we have something for almost everything else in life. We have nonprofits for food, clothing, housing, furniture. Here's how to take a job interview, job
yeah.
skills once you get there. We have everything, but
Even
nothing
job
for
placement,
cars.
just job
Job
placement
placement
in
for
general.
sure.
Yeah, yeah,
And nothing for cars. There's not one program. There's not even stuff that gets you a bus pass, really, but certainly not empowering people in their own car so they can have ultimate freedom. We don't have anything. I mean,
right.
at the time we were talking about like cash for clunkers was the closest thing that's ever been
Yeah.
attempted, and that really wasn't for people in poverty. That was for
That
everybody,
was
and
for
it
people
didn't
just
go
trying to
that
get rid of
well.
things.
And
Yeah,
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 it just had not been tried. Now, it's not as weird of a concept. Maybe people listening know of another car ministry. At the time, it was why. I mean, we knew of that one. You'd
right.
you'd Google it and nothing would come up. There was no other car. It was a wild idea at the time.
Did you ever think this is crazy? There's no way this will work.
All the time. Yes, constantly.
Probably to this day, right?
Oh my gosh. When you're starting out and it's I'm kind of melancholy anyway. I'm a little bit I think a lot of times on sitcoms they take a character type and just crank it to 11.
Hmm.
So if Michael Scott from The Office is 11, I'm like a 6 or a 7. Like I feel that. When
Right.
he was going to ask Holly out and he takes a video to either calm himself down or keep
Yeah.
himself from being depressed,
Yeah.
I feel that. Like that's
Yeah.
me. And
Yeah.
so when you're not doing, today we do a couple hundred a year. So if I hit 2 or 3 bad ones in a row, it's whatever. When you're starting out
Right.
and when you're just starting out and you thought you could do a repair, but you really couldn't, you kind of messed up on somebody's car. Then you did a good job on one and somebody's mad at you for, I don't know how, like you fixed their
Right.
car for free and they're still mad at you. You get 2 or 3
Right.
in a row and you're like, why are we even doing this? We don't know what we're doing. We're not professional mechanics. Like, I don't know how to
Right.
deal with these situations. But then you get a positive review online and then somebody stops in to tell you that you changed their life and you're like, okay, well, we can't stop. We have to keep doing it. Like,
You got
we're
you.
the best
Right.
at this.
Absolutely.
I'm
Right.
1 or
Yep.
11 all the time.
Riding the waves over and over and over again.
Yeah. Plenty of ones though. Plenty.
Why is reliable transportation such a critical issue? And I think a lot of people, I would even in this, Joe, and I don't remember if I have a follow-up question that says this, but I want to make sure we get this out. Where you guys are located in Sioux Falls and Rapid City, there is a drastic travel for people too, right? Like public transportation is not that great. Like I am probably 45 minutes away from Chicago, but like there's tons of public transportation for people who live in Chicago. But in Sioux Falls and Rapid City, like reliable transportation is a critical issue.
Yeah, it's a big deal in both cities for different reasons. In Rapid City, it covers a lot of area actually, but there's a big hill in the middle of town, so you have to get around that hill to go to everything.
Yeah.
And lots of stuff is not by downtown in Rapid for sure. If you live in poverty, I mean, in both cities, right? Downtown is the classy, fancy place. If you live in poverty, there's not a lot of what you need down there that's
Right.
close together and easy to get to. And in both cities, I've talked to the transportation director over the buses, and they tell me it's not going to get better unless people vote for more taxes. And that's not going to happen because A, people don't vote
Don't
for
wanna
more
pay.
taxes, and B,
Right.
the people paying legitimate amount of taxes don't ride public transportation and don't care.
Right.
And that, I mean, I'm not really upset about them. That's just how the world works. Some people ask me when Lyft and Uber came to Rapid, is this still going to be needed? Is this still a thing that people are
Yeah.
going to need? And I said, absolutely. If you're in poverty making minimum wage or anywhere close to it, the ride to work and from work will cut out the first like 3 hours of your 8-hour workday. It's devastating. I'm super glad that it's available. I've actually done some driving a couple years ago as
Yeah.
a driver. I'm super glad it's available in the town, and you know, we don't mess up cars anymore because we know what we're doing. We've been doing it for a long time, but
Yeah.
it's nice to know if you do, people have the option of getting a $15 ride somewhere. It's not
Right.
devastating. It's just inconvenient. And even
Right.
if we have to pay for the ride, it's available. It's great. But can you use it day in and day? Actually, we just had a client 2-3 months ago. She needed to get approved for a car. She has a nice job, but she doesn't live by that job, and it's not worth moving. But she was paying about $700 a month in Lyft and Uber rides. And the bank denied her because they said she couldn't make a car payment. And I said, I think she can. Actually, I'm actually buy a brand new Tesla if she felt like it. But this isn't working. This thing she's doing is just killing her, taking all that
Right.
income every month and tossing it. So people are in unique situations. And then, as you said, our state's super spread out. I mean, even people in poverty have kids in sports. And anymore, that means Rapid travels to Sioux Falls. Sioux Falls travels to Rapid. That's 350 miles at least between the two cities. And that happens all the time. And then people in both cities have to travel to Mayo for medical procedures in Minnesota. And that's a pretty long trip, especially from Rapid. That's I don't know, it's somewhere between 8 and 10 hours it's got to be
Yeah.
from Rapid. So if you are somebody who needs that medical service, you might be making that trip once a month or better to Mayo.
Yeah.
There's definitely people in that situation. So yeah, you've got to have there's no bus that's going to take you to Mayo. And I mean, I guess Greyhound, but if you're dealing with
Right.
something medical, that's probably not the way you want to travel.
Right. You don't be traveling the bus. And it's so, yeah. And it's crazy because like people underestimate the importance of having a dependable vehicle. Like I know most jobs, like even in, as you're applying, they're like, do you have a reliable vehicle? Like, so they're asking that question from the very beginning. Why do you think people underestimate it so much?
I think we take it for granted. I didn't think about getting to work today. I don't know if you did, but I mean, I don't live in the city that I work in, and I didn't even think about it. Just
Right.
I pick which car I want to take, and I hop in that car. Like whichever one kind of fits the day. I wanted to ride my motorcycle in today, but it rained, and I'm like, I guess I'll just take a different vehicle. I think most of us can do that,
Right.
and we just don't have to think about it. But if you did, a couple of things come right to mind. In Rapid, the bus stops at like 6 p.m., which is crazy. It doesn't happen over here. But you can get off work, go to Walmart, get 10 bags of groceries, and then walk out to an empty bus stop and try to figure out how to get home, is one example. Also, in both cities, this is a half a joke. It's winter 8 months out of the year. I mean, some years it is winter 8 months
Yes.
out of the year.
Yep. Yeah.
So that's not fun. Also, so in Sioux Falls, a lot of shift clients work the 2 a.m. shift at Amazon. That's a major provider of jobs, especially for people in that bracket. And there's obviously no public transportation at 2 a.m. And
Right.
Lyft and Uber, the two guys, Bob and Dale, that are both out at 2 a.m., Lyft and Uber jack up the prices because of their availability. But also, I don't think people think about this. When I was a driver, people said, "Oh, you got that concert this weekend. That's going to be a big moneymaker." It's not, because when the concert gets out, I can only go up there, get one person, and take them home. By the time I'm done, everybody else has left. It's the same with the 2 a.m. shift in Amazon. 1:30 doesn't do me any good, and 2:30 doesn't do me any good. So everybody needs those two drivers in the same 30-minute window.
Yeah.
So that doesn't really solve the problem.
No, right.
So you've got to have a car. A lot of people that have a car are carpooling, 4 of them, to get to the 2 a.m. shift, and which works. But then when that car breaks down, it's affecting a lot of people. And anymore, a lot of people are door dashing and Grubhubbing and going and getting groceries, and that's their car is their job. And those cars are often not maintained as nicely as they should be, and old, and they have a lot of miles, and they're not highway miles. And those cars go through a lot.
They get beat up
and
pretty
I don't think
good.
People don't figure that in. I DoorDash, I get this much, and it's working out.
Right.
Once you've run the math long enough, you got to take care of that car if it's your livelihood. And oftentimes that doesn't happen. It's gas and go until so many things are broken that now I don't know if it's up against the value of the car. So
Right. And you're going,
people could do better, but I mean, they weren't. I'm a car guy, so it's hard to know what a non-car guy knows. But I think we took it out of schools, and we didn't have shop class, and some of that stuff's going back now, which is great.
Yeah.
But if nobody told you, you don't know. So
no, absolutely. What dominoes begin to fall when someone loses transportation?
Man, and they can fall quick, which leads to some panicking for people. So if you have no plan in place if 70% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, all of my clients strive to live paycheck to paycheck.
Right. That's what they're hoping to get to.
That's what they're hoping, that they don't have to pull a payday loan in between pay days or something like that.
Right.
If you're in that position and the car breaks down, you don't have much time. But employers have been a little bit more lenient now that workers are hard to find. But it used to be, if you work at the gas station, you don't go to work for 3 days, you don't have a job.
You're done.
You're out. And if you don't know your manager now, that may still be the case. That may just be company policy. So you've got to get something figured out. That's where Lyft and Uber can be good. But people start to recognize pretty quickly that's going to be a problem. And labor rates. I was just talking to a grant maker about this yesterday. I came to Sioux Falls in 2020. So it's been 6 years. Obviously, inflation's a huge topic. Everybody's talking about it. But 6 years ago in Sioux Falls, the labor rate was $100 an hour to get your car worked on. And today, it's at least $150. So it's gone up 150%. Even a homeschooler can do that math. 150. 150% in 6 years. I don't think eggs, gasoline, none of that stuff's gone up 150% in 6 years. It is running crazy. I also, by the way, think that's related to when we took shop out of school. We didn't raise any mechanics, and now we're shorthanded for mechanics, and that's driving the price up too. But when these families get an estimate for $2,000 on a car worth $3,500, you've got a decision to make. And then, I don't often see it leading to them losing their job. They usually will juke before that happens and do something. But sometimes what that leads to is going to a buy here, pay here that's looking to take advantage of you, and they'll put you in a car. You can drive away today, and it looks like it's going to solve all your problems. And a lot of people go do that out of desperation because these terms are crazy and I shouldn't be signing this, but I'm going to be homeless next month if I don't sign this piece of paper. I'll figure it out later.
It's desperation, basically.
It is desperation for sure. And they're there like it's like a safety net that's a mirage. Like it looks like a safety net. And the trap is you can't figure it out later. That math does not math. There's no way you can make up those payments. If you weren't making it before, you're not going to make it with the crazy payment.
Right.
It's just a car. It does the same thing the last car did. It's cool. It's got a screen in the middle, but it still just gets you to work. So, that's the trap, and they're prime for the pickings for those places when they're desperate and they've got to do. So they feel like they're doing it for their family, and I get that. It's a tough spot to be in.
No, it definitely is. It's not fun. Like, how quickly can someone's life spiral because of one repair bill?
Man, it spirals immediately, but I think the problem is you don't. It takes 6 months for a lot of people to eat that. When you
Mm,
either come up with the cash, ask family, do whatever you're doing, or I was also talking to somebody about this. In South Dakota, we got the buy here, pay here place, or not buy here, pay here. The payday loan places kicked out of the state. We put a maximum interest rate they're allowed to charge, and they needed to charge like 400% or whatever it was because it was a 2 week loan.
right.
So they dried up and went. They just couldn't make any money at it, so they left. But whenever you buy something online today, it says, "Hey, do you want to pay with this with Affirm payments and do six
Oh,
payments
yeah.
or 8 payments or whatever?"
Yep.
So
Yeah.
what we're finding in the poverty world is a lot of people don't know that barely checks your credit. Most of them don't check your credit, and so what we found is you can get in a lot of trouble before
Mm.
they catch on that you don't have enough money to pay for this stuff. And so shops in town are taking Affirm, and there's probably other companies. I'm just picking Affirm because it's the
Yeah,
one
it's like
I've
the
seen.
pay
But
for things like that. Basically, it's you take the whole
yeah,
thing, and then once
yep,
I think it once every 2 weeks or something like that, you have to make a payment. Yeah,
yeah, it's basically a rent-a-center for everything. And so
yeah,
shops are doing that because people can't afford their bills. So they're giving them a $1,200 bill, but they're paying for it on payments. And so what I'm saying is that repair that happened in February, we might be about to pay that off now in July. Like,
right,
so it's
right.
a slow spiral. It's a slow burn that keeps burning. By the time you get that done, something else is probably broken. If you're using it for DoorDash, almost certainly you need
And you're
tires
just
or something.
and then you're just stuck in this circular motion of doing the same thing over and over and over again.
It's a lot of treading water, and honestly, Chris, it makes you start to think. Oh, the majority of our clients work, and the majority of those clients have more than one job. Of the
Yeah,
ones that work, most of them have more than one job. Some people sit on the couch and gather a check, right? We've heard people talk about these people all the time. But why
yep,
would they try? So for it to be worth them working, when you do the math in nonprofit, we call it the cliffhanger effect. When you come off of government aid, it goes away. There's no like
it's gone.
stair
Yeah,
step.
yeah,
So if you go work at the gas station, we talk about that example. You have to be the manager of the gas station, or you were doing better not working. And so when you
right.
compound that with childcare costs that you now have to pay because you're not at home, why would you even try? Why would you
Yeah,
go work for $10 an hour? It doesn't work out. So I like I said, Montana, hard work ethic, grew up, but I also can do math. And if you're making the same amount doing nothing,
then why
that's
work?
probably a better idea. Yeah.
Right,
We
right,
haven't the system is not great for people, and we get this group in the White House and this group in the White House, and they just take it away or put it back. But the stair
right.
step is really there needs to be some incentive. People do what they're incentivized to do. So we should
Sure.
build a program that incentivizes them to be contributing members of society and have enough to meet their needs and make it worth it. And I don't think we're doing a good job with that right now.
Maybe one day. Maybe one day.
That would be great. It would be great.
Tell
You're
me
going to run
about
for
some.
office? Is that what you're
I
saying?
think so. I think so. Yep. Yeah. Figuring it out. Tell me about someone you'll never forget.
Like a shift
There's
client I'll
probably
never
so
forget? Is
many.
that what
Yeah, a client. Yeah,
there
just
are a
someone.
lot.
There's probably so many.
I think you and I have talked before about my favorite applicant we had that was actually for getting a car. It wasn't even repair. And she was just getting out of an abusive relationship. I mean, I was pastoring in this situation, so I was talking to her and I was visiting him in jail
Mm,
for having been abusive to her. So I was really all in this. But she needed a car. It was way, 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 way back when it was just us. We weren't doing referrals. We were interviewing people
yeah.
to get them donated cars. So we interviewed her, and I asked, one of my favorite questions was, we get you this car, what's different in 6 months? And she said, everything. I'm carpooling to work and I can work more hours, but I can't get there because the person I'm carpooling with doesn't work those hours.
Yep.
There's a better daycare that's cheaper that is just too far away it's not on the route with this. So I want to do that, which will save me some money, set my kid up better. I'll get more hours at work. So I want to move out of my parents' place, get my own place, and get myself set up. And when we were doing these interviews, man, it was rough. We'd have like 4 cars to give away. We'd get 50 applicants. We'd have to cut half of them down just by the paper application and then interview the rest, which means we have to hand out 21 no's and 4 yes. It was. I'm so glad we don't do it that way anymore.
Right.
But when you do it, when you interview all these people, you could just see in her eye, like, she's chomping at the bit. She wants to go make her life happen, and the car is what's holding her back. I think he had taken the car. Something happened with the car they had. So we got her this car. She did all of those things to a T. She got the more hours, did the better daycare. She actually started going to that church that we were a part of in Rapid City. Started bringing her entire family, who, as far as I know, still go there. And that was 13 years ago.
That's awesome.
Her family started coming. They started tithing at the church. I actually got to baptize her about 2 years after I got her that car. And then once I got set up in Sioux Falls, I went back to Rapid City, ran into her, and she was driving a nicer car than I drive. And I thought that was awesome. I'm like, that's so cool.
That was the waitress.
Super. Yeah. Yep. You've met her. I don't know if we've talked, but you've seen her.
Yeah.
She was driving a car. It was like 5 years newer than mine, in great shape, and I was like, good for her.
Yes,
she's got
absolutely.
she's got this figured out. Moved on past him. She has her self-worth back, and she's killing it, and she knows she's killing it, and was so happy. Her whole life trajectory changed off of that, and I'm never gonna forget that one for sure. There are a lot, and some people I remember for other reasons.
Sure.
So
Sure.
you can be memorable on both ends of the spectrum for sure.
What's a repair that meant far more than just fixing a car?
Oh man, I think about a couple. The first one I ever did, so there was no shift. It was Joe. Joe has moved here to do this thing, and we got a lady that needs help with her car. Her car had broken down on the side of the road, like the front tire had folded up under the fender, and she had a tow fee from the side of the road, an impound fee when it was there, and then she needed to fix the car. So the church took care of the tow fee and everything, and then they brought me the car. And it was, I remember so specifically, it was a 98 Grand Marquis, and it was $198 in parts. I want to say 12 cents, but I probably won't get any extra credit for that. But it was $198 in parts for a lower control arm, ball joint, whatever. Fixed it and got her back on the road. And I remember she told me, so it was a single mom with 5 kids, which is not the highest amount I've heard at all, but it's still crazy. I co-parent 3 children, and that's plenty.
It's enough,
so I
right?
cannot imagine single parenting 5. But 2 of the kids were old enough that they used the vehicle to get to work. So that car meant 3 jobs for a family of 6. It was everything. It was absolutely everything. And if the $200 in parts would have set them back at least 6 months, months for that family. But I think one, maybe the one you're angling for, I know you and I have talked about it before.
Whatever, yeah.
There was a lady in Rapid City that had, but I believe she had an abusive history with narcotics, and she was sober and clean. She'd handled that part, and she was finally had gotten a job. You talked about people having jobs. A lot of people have come to us and said, I have a job if I get a car. That's they've given me the job if I can get there and I have a car.
Yeah.
So she had just gotten the job, had the car, and her alternator went out. And she came to us and said, it's not just this, though. Keeping this job for a certain amount of time is my last chance with the state to get my 2 kids back. And so what looked like an alternator on a 2005 Nissan Altima is actually a home being made whole again, and kids getting to live with a mom who crawled out of that past and got herself clean and was trying. And so that's something I think about often. This looks like a $150 alternator, but what is it really? What's actually behind this? What's happening? Because I'm sure not everyone shares that with us. That's pretty vulnerable.
Sure.
But we just need to be aware. Everybody has a story. You don't know what people are going through, again, with the cliches, but it's true. And the car, it can affect all of that. It's a huge deal. It's a big, big deal.
What's a day at Shift Garage that you will remember forever?
Oh gosh. Like good you want a good one or a bad one?
Give me both.
What's the Oh man, a good one. I remember my director in Rapid City at the time had all pretty much all on his own. I just proofread the thing, that was about it. He had applied for a grant that I thought we had no chance at. This huge grant would set us way forward, do all kinds of stuff for us. I thought we had just no chance for it. And I remember I was in Rapid City at the district conference for pastors, and he called me to tell me we got that grant. And it was like, it took me hours to fully come to grips with the fact that at the time that number was astronomical to us. Like it was mind blowing. It would have been over our budget for the year, I think, the whole thing. And it was like, oh my gosh, are you serious? Look at all the stuff we can do now. This is crazy how many people this is going to help. And it has. It's set up a whole new program that's still going, and it was a huge deal. But we knew at the time, like, wow, this is a big deal. And then the not so good, I think the most stressed, you saw me really stressed about shift when we were in Rapid City yet.
Yeah.
The closest I've come to that, like, I was literally zombieing, watching myself from outside of my body, was over here. We had a mechanic that finished up a Ford Expedition with a wheelchair lift in it for a client and forgot to put oil in it. And the client picked up the car the next morning, made it like a mile, and completely destroyed their engine. And I'm like, that can't be us. That can't be on us. We wouldn't have done something like that. And I went back and checked all the camera footage, and I'm like, nope, that's exactly what happened. This one's on us. They drained the oil out, put the plug back, lowered the car, went to look at a rear hatch issue with the wheelchair lift, and the oil was just sitting on the bench the whole time, and it just didn't get put in. It's as easy to forget as your keys. It just makes a multi-$1,000 repair bill. Like, it can happen.
Right.
And so we wanted to make it so right for this lady, but she wanted a brand new engine in this 200,000 mile, like 99 Expedition. And I was like, that is just not a practical solution to this problem at all. Let's get a different vehicle, get something else in. And she fought me the whole way. We gave her a really nice vehicle off the front line. We sourced a wheelchair lift for it and installed it. But
nice.
She was threatening to sue us the entire time and calling us all kinds of names. And I was like, I really don't know how we're going to come out on this deal. We did absolutely everything we could to help her. I just didn't think a brand new engine in a 200,000 mile rusted out car was the way to go. So she eventually was happy. I think she was just really pushing the whole time to make sure we were going to do it.
Sure.
But when the whole organization, and it's being threatened that we're going to be sued and the whole thing could go down, the stress level was just insane. It's crazy to think, you're like, could this actually happen? And it's our fault, and we're trying to own it. But
correct. Right. No, absolutely.
That's a day I will not forget.
All right, Joseph, we've done I've asked you a lot of questions. I have more questions to ask you, but I actually want to give you the opportunity right now to actually go into detail in how Shift helps people with transportation issues. So tell me about all the programs, tell me where you're located, all those fun little things, and take as much time as you need.
Sure. Yeah, no problem. So we're really in two programs, and so we call it now Shift and Upshift. So Shift obviously is the thing. It's what we're named. We've been doing it forever. Shift is people apply to have their cars repaired. We bring the car in, do an estimate on it. So whatever they say, the front left tire is making a noise. That's cool. We check that out. We also look at the rest of the car. Because I have people that say, my 2010 Impala is not running great. I think it's the carburetor. And I have to go, no one's made a carburetor since 1988. So it's definitely not that.
Not the carburetor.
But we will figure out what it is.
Yeah.
So we look over the whole car, checking for safety, legality, and reliability. On the Shift side, those are the only three things we care about. We just want to make sure you can get to work, take your kids to school, get to the hospital. We partner with a lot of shops in town, and I don't want to compete with them.
Yep.
I mean, not that we could hit any volume that would matter, but I've got volunteer mechanics, a great price on parts. It's an unfair competitive advantage if we were to start fixing air conditioning, four-wheel drive, radios, stuff that
Just became the one-stop shop for everything.
Yeah, well, we can't provide that, and that's not a good use of our time anyway. There's hundreds of people that need the help that we provide every year. So people come in, we do an estimate, we give them an estimate for just the cost of parts. I get a better deal on parts than you do just walking into Napa or O'Reilly's, so we don't want the parts ahead of time. Also, cars are getting complicated. I know on a Volkswagen Jetta, if you look up the brakes, it wants to know if the rotor's a 250 millimeter or a 252 millimeter. No one knows the answer. We don't even know. We buy both of them and return whichever one we don't use.
Whatever you don't need.
So,
yeah.
Ordering parts can be a pain. So we don't want them to. Since volunteers are doing it in the evening, we can't tear a car apart at 8 o'clock and then find out we've got the wrong part because now there's very few options to fix that.
Right, because they need that car the next day most likely.
Yeah, if it's torn apart, then we can't get in there. So, so then this is where we're a little bit different. We get prepaid because I never get postpaid, and I don't want to chase people and have outstanding invoices. And so once we give you the estimate and then they pay, then we get them scheduled to come in and do the repair. So once they pay, we order the parts right away. They're sitting on the shelf. The volunteers come in. And like I said, after 14 years, we know what we can do in a 2.5-hour window and what we can't do. The only variable in Sioux Falls is that the cars are super rusty. And so that one rusty bolt can shut down a night. In Rapid, all the cars have hail damage, but they're not rusty, and we don't care about hail damage. In Sioux Falls, nobody has hail damage, but they're rusted out like
they got rust
came
from
out
all
of
the
the
salt.
Titanic or something. They're awful. So that's Shift in a nutshell. That's what we've been doing forever. We now do 150 per shop per year on that, so about 300 cars a year get help in that way. And in Rapid, we're keeping up with demand. In Sioux Falls, I thought it would be about double what Rapid is. It turns out it's going to be more than that. So we'll have to scale up to meet the demand. And there's definitely seasons. It's always interesting. February, we do almost nothing because people in poverty, their next car is going to fix all their problems. So they don't want to fix this in February because I'm going to trade it in March. And then hot summer, cars don't like extremes. So hot summer, you have radiators overheating and batteries dying. And then cold winter, it's funny, you have kind of the same two problems. Radiators that they're not providing heat in the car and batteries that are freezing and bulging and dying. So it's definitely seasonal. But then, so we used to have a program where you would donate a $4,000 car. We'd put $500 in it to get it running, and we'd get it to somebody for $500. Everybody loved that program. The church we started in, you brought that up in 2011, technically 2012, we got going. In 2019, we became our own entity. We took it on outside of the church and just became Shift Garage, not LLC, but
whatever
organization, corporation. So from that point on, we couldn't let $4,000 go out the door all the time like we could before. Right. But the main reason we quit was because of COVID. And I was just telling somebody this the last week. I feel like a 2003 Impala must have been $1,500 when it was brand new, because my whole life they've been $1,500.
So it's been $1,500.
You could always get one. I had a 2001 I bought for $1,500. I had 100,000 miles on it. $1,500, ran great, and they were so cheap. It was like, if it needs brakes and tires at the same time, do I just ditch it and get another one? Just get one with lower miles that doesn't need those things for $1,500. It was just like currency, like coffee beans or something. Like 05 Impalas are $1,500. Everybody knew that. Well, after COVID, there were two down the street that were $6,000, and I was like, "What is happening? That thing has 165,000 miles on it." They want $6,000. It was literally at a place called Cheap Cars. That was the name of the dealership, and it's $6,000 for this thing. And I'm like, "There's no way." And that car values just were crazy all of a sudden. And we, again, donors were down. We couldn't let $5,000 cars go out the door. We needed to recoup that money to keep the doors open. So the idea was born for this program we now call Upshift. And it's partially because the one group of people I couldn't ever help were the ones that already went to a buy here, pay here, signed their life away on that paper, and then said, "Now that I've done that, can you help me?" And I go, "No, there's nothing I can do for these people." She's bringing me a car she's been paying on for 2 years, and she still owes more than it's worth. She's not even right side up in it after 2 years, and I'm like, there's nothing anybody can do in this situation. So the only thing we could think of to do was offer them a better alternative before they sign the paper. So you go to one of these places, they might put you today in a 2020 Durango, but it's twice what it's worth at 25% interest. You're going to pay insane amounts when that's done. And I could go on and on about what I don't like about buy here, pay here's, but one of the things that's most important, I think, is they're the bank, so they don't have to report to credit unless you mess up. They're not really incentivized to say, hey, she's making every payment, it's going great.
Right.
Somebody would have to get up and go do that, and there's no reason for them to do that. And really, they don't need to do it if you mess up either, but they can just to trash your credit and make it worse.
I was going to say, it seems like there's no point of telling them something good, because if they do something good, they might be able to flip out of it. And
True.
that doesn't
They're
help
actually
them.
incentivized not to do, not
Right.
to report it.
Right.
So if you could possibly keep up with these crazy several $100 every 2 week payments, you're not going to get any credit for it anyway. But instead of doing that, we offer cars at 85% of what they're worth. We, according to the IRS, have to offer things that's significantly below market value. They leave that very ambiguous.
Right.
But we offer cars at 85% of what they're worth, and then partner clients with local credit unions and get them interest rates. Let's be honest. So I'm actually, I mean, I'm not allowed to know because it's their personal financial information, but the ones that are shared with me, they may be paying anywhere between 7 or 9 to 14%, depending on what their history is, what their debt to income is, had they had a repossession. You know, it could be any kind of crazy numbers, but it's not 25% at double book value, and they are building their credit. It's been a successful program. The credit union we partner with the most, I've asked them, and again, they can't give me any specifics, but they say in general, your clients are not defaulting because they realize you've provided them, this is their last chance. This is the last branch on the way into the Grand Canyon. And they know that, and it's a reasonable payment. It's, you know, generally like, I don't know, 180 to 230, these car payments. I mean, it's
great.
a couple of Lyft rides, honestly.
Right.
And they've got a car that's going to last them at least the 3-year term of the loan, probably longer. So it's been a great, great program. So we're also, just to kind of get into the nuts and bolts a little bit, since we're doing this program from scratch, anybody can come buy a car from us. We're targeting a specific group of people that need it for low income, but that may be an upper middle class person's car for their kid. It kind of just falls in the same category. That happens. But it's fine, because if they come and buy a $7,000 vehicle, I'm just going to take $3,500 twice and go source 2 more vehicles and put them out on the lot. We are, by the way, new thing for us. We think that's great. It's a great system. It's working. I mean, it's grown us from 2 employees to 8 and much bigger stuff. But what we are going to start doing moving forward is trying to track how many people are we getting that we're targeting, and how many are just I don't want to be just a used car dealer. If we're just a used car dealer, then we could do something else. So we can't require it, but we're going to incentivize, maybe with gas cards or something. If you fill out this survey, we would like to know how many people are we helping that we're trying to go after. Because if Joe and the crew are just putting cars together to be the cheapest dealer in town, then we could come up with something else to do. If it's not helping the people we're trying to help, then we need to adapt. Dude, it's a lot of work. So
no, absolutely. So you said that you didn't want to get into it, but I would like you to get into it a little bit. And specifically what I want you to talk about is and we've done the little social media videos on this, but I want you to tell me the difference between the journey the car takes from the buy here, pay here versus the shift garage, right? So the equal $6,000 car, and how that, and then what that person ends up actually paying.
I'm so glad you asked this, because I just sent it to a grant maker yesterday. So I'm going to open this email, and I have it right here to tell you. So it literally was on a $6,000 vehicle. So our average vehicle sale price is $6,000. And look, I would love to put together $4,000 cars. It would actually be my favorite to put together $4,000 cars. The problem is, it's 2026. There are $2,000 bicycles on Facebook Marketplace all over the place. It's just not the world we live in. I wish it was. But for me to put together a $4,000 car, I have to buy it at like $1,200. And then they nickel and dime me to death by the time I get them out on the lot. And by then I have to put them out for like $5,000.
Right.
It just doesn't work. So the average I've got a couple cars out for 48, 52 right now. We're doing a little
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
But there's also eights and nines. But it averages to 6. So we've done, what did I say the other day? We've done like 350 cars now between the two locations. So
Oh wow.
when I pull that average, it's off some statistics.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's not just
6,000
a
is
couple
what we
cars here.
sell it for. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the real number. So
Yeah.
if a car we're selling for 6,000 would have been 7,050 somewhere else because we marked it down 85%. So you buy a car from us instead of somebody else with cash, you're saving 1,050 right off the bat, which is great.
Yep.
Another thing I'll just mention that's great about this program, since we're asking 85% of the car value, the bank is much more likely to approve because they're right side up in the car from day one. If the person never pays on the car, they're not underwater on the car.
They can
and that
sell
was
it
by design
if they had
as
a
well.
repo. They could sell and still be good. Yeah.
Exactly. And they're not having to, but they work on statistics.
It helps.
For sure. That was by design on our part, and it has worked out. But if you go to a buy here, pay here for that $7,050 car, it's going to cost twice as much. Another thing, our loan size set 180 to 230, probably an average payment. Because of what they are, everybody's on a 36-month loan. There's no reason to do anything longer.
Right.
But a buy here, pay here that's got you on the hook for 25% interest, they want that sucker as long as possible. And we're not even going to include, for the buy here, payers that we mainly deal with, you sign an agreement to only get the car fixed there. You can't get it fixed anywhere else. And if you don't make your payment, they just shut the computer off and it just won't start. And then they come get it. But since you get the repair done there, let's be hypothetical, Chris, for a minute and say I own a buy here, pay here, and I've got you under my thumb, and you come in. I now can charge absolutely whatever I want for that brake job because you're not allowed to go anywhere else.
Right.
And then when I say it's $1,200 and you go, I don't have it, then I go, oh, no problem. I'll just throw it on your loan.
Yeah.
Now you're paying 25% on a $1,200 brake job. Anyway, I'm getting off topic.
And you still don't own the car
every day.
Yeah.
You still don't. Yeah. You're still.
I still think
I
think that's very important for people to understand. Like, I think
it is.
And here's the thing: it's very important for people to understand. Not those that are just listening who want to help out or something like that, but there's a possibility of someone who's thinking about going to a buy here, pay here. Like, they need to understand that education. And look, I heard it on talk radio the other day. It's like we don't wish for injuries against our teams. Like, I don't wish for Green Bay Packer players to get hurt, but if Jordan Love is hurt, I'm sorry that he's hurt, right? Like, I don't look, and I don't think you look for other businesses to go out of business. I think you just want people to be educated so that they don't get taken advantage of.
Yeah, I half agree with. I mean, I don't agree with you on the Packer thing at all. I knew that Bears hat was going to bite me at some point. I struggle because that business, I do want them to go out of business a little bit. At the same time,
right, yeah, totally.
At the same time, if we're being completely realistic, I deal with these clients too. We're dealing with the same clients. We're just doing two very different things. They're taking advantage of it, and I'm trying to help them. But I know our clients. They have rough credit history. And if I was the bank, I think it's just a bad model, because if I was the bank, I wouldn't be able to charge much less. I mean, that's just the risk of loaning to people with that credit limit. I do think your default rate goes up when you just make it absolutely ridiculous and unattainable. I don't think they're helping themselves, but they are risky people. That's why we had to develop a program, because the bank didn't want to loan them money either. So I half get it. Right. But then there's just going too far. There's just greed and craziness. And if you believe in the Bible, a bunch of verses in Revelations about taking advantage of people in poverty, that doesn't go well.
It doesn't bode well. No, absolutely.
Let me save you the read. It's not good. Don't do it.
Right. So anyways, back to the $6,000 because I'll be with you. I'm with you. Like, it's frustrating because I was someone who got stuck because I was stupid in the payday loan, industry and things like that, right? So it was merely just I wasn't educated, and my brain was like, I need this thing, so I'm gonna go get it. Oh, I only have to pay $25 every so often. Great, But like, so to me, I'm just as passionate about it because I want people to understand and be educated Yeah, you might get a 2015 instead of a 2022 if they went with you, but the ability for you to own the car from you is so much greater than that $6,000 car from a buy here, pay
Yeah,
here.
for sure. Well, I got us off track.
Oh, you're good.
Let's finish this math. If they get the $7,000 vehicle at double what it's worth, and then they pay 25% interest, they're going to stretch it. Now, I did this math at 48 months instead of 60 because the number at 60 is just, I don't know if you're going to believe me at 48, so 60 is just great, but do the math yourself. Take a
Right.
$14,000 car at 25% interest for 48 months. They pay $22,468 for that car that we would charge $6,000 for. So our clients, if they get financing from us, since we only charge $6,000, and then they get reasonable financing, they end up paying like $7,200 or $73, what we should have charged in the first place. Essentially, they pay
Right.
the
Right. Very,
15%.
very close to that. Yeah.
So on a $6,000 car, and this sounds, every time I say it, I'm like,
This is
it's kind of like
nuts.
having the name Joe Smith. You're like, nobody believes me. It's true, but it's the same deal. On a $6,000 car, we will have saved this family $15,000 versus a buy here, pay here. And that sounds absolutely impossible, but it's very possible, and it happens every day. Every day it happens. They sell a lot of cars.
Yeah.
Well, part of the reason is because they sell all their cars 6 times because they repossess them 5 times. That's an average
Right.
number, by the way.
Right.
When they send them out the door with their new car, they also stick a key in the file folder for the repo guy at the same time because they know they're coming for it.
They know it's coming back.
So,
Yeah.
yep, it just leaves destroyed lives and credit in its wake back behind it. Because once you've burnt with those guys, you're down to bicycle. There's no
Right. Right.
you're in the Grand Canyon. There's no last branch to. So when you say somebody might be considering it, I mean, if they're in a town that doesn't have this, what are their options? What are
Right.
they? I mean,
Right.
I would say go buy a $500 Buick, but I'm a car guy and I know what to look for. And
Yep.
most of the time when you're buying a car under 5 on Marketplace, there's a pretty good chance that car is messed up, and that's why
Right.
it's
Yeah.
that price on Marketplace. So if you don't know what you're looking for, that's also, I don't want to necessarily use the word privilege here, but it kind of is on my.
Yeah.
I could do that because I know what to look for. I know all the tricks. I know how this car dies, so I know what to check.
Yep.
And to be honest, if you don't know that, you're gonna get burnt on something
Yeah.
that's low end.
Absolutely.
So
So, what has surprised you the most about leading a nonprofit?
oh man, I would have said in the beginning, I was so naive and, pastor's kid, homeschooler, the world's just sunshine and rainbows. And I thought,
Yeah.
well, the best part of this job is that no one's ever going to be mad at us because all we're doing is helping people and bending over backwards for them when we don't need to at all. And
Yeah.
so what would they possibly ever be upset about? It's going to be awesome.
Right.
And I remember I was working with Dave, the other Dave, who you know,
Yep.
with Rhonda, and we were getting cars to people. There was a short time we gave them away absolutely free because the church was covering it. It was a short time. It was a dumb idea. Don't do that. But when we were charging what we had in them, like $500, look, there's responsibility that comes with owning a car. And there were some cars we gave away for free that then 6 months later, a $200 alternator went out, and that car sat in the driveway, broke down for a year. Some people cannot afford to have a car.
Right.
You are a bus passer, a bicycle person until we get more income coming in. Then
Yeah.
you could own a car. You got to have insurance and gas and tires, and there's just stuff. So if you can't afford $500 to get it in the beginning, this is not a
Right.
good sign. That
Right.
This is going to be a long-term solution. But I remember Dave talked to me, and he's like, some of these people are not grateful at all. We're giving them a car. And they're like, yeah, that's what the church is supposed to do. So not even thank you on the way as you give them the keys. And he's
Right.
like, is that bothering you? And I'm like, I mean, it's not my preference, but I'm doing what God told me to do. God told me to take this thing that somebody had given us, to steward it well, and then to get it to somebody. And it was my belief that that's the person we're supposed to get it to. So I said, ultimately, we were with the church at this time. I said, everybody that donates a car and puts it for us to take care of and get it to somebody, or every time I swipe that church credit card that's somebody's tithe money,
Yep.
it's my belief that while I'm up talking to Peter at the gates, I have to explain what we did with all that stuff. And then we
Absolutely.
didn't misuse it or mishandle it. And I mean, tithe money especially, that's a lot of responsibility. That this has been brought into the storehouse, and now you're going to spend it on a Diet Coke at the gas station. Like, is this,
Right. Right.
you just have to think about that.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
is this what this money needs to go for or not? So I don't even remember your question anymore.
What surprised you most about leading a nonprofit? I'm thinking what you're going to go for is just
Yeah.
just how angry some people might have gotten at stuff, or just how.
Yeah, people did get angry at us. I talked
Yeah.
about being threatened to be sued at when we first started. For the first 3 years, somebody threatened to sue us every 6 months. That was the like standard. It hasn't happened in so long now. I'm like, what were we doing back then? That was what was the deal? But I
Right.
think it was getting over our head on repairs, and it was weird stuff. Somebody would drop off a car in the church parking lot, and no phone call, no, not a sticky note, nothing. And then I'd let them go like 2 months, and then called an impound company to haul it. And then they were so mad at me. They're like, I needed that fixed. And I'm going, how did I know? You just
Right.
an abandoned car on the church parking lot. I don't know.
Right.
I waited 2 months, man. Like, but it was always situations like that. I would say now, though, at this point I would say the growth that we've experienced. I mean, it's been so popular, and next year's 15 years. That's bananas to
Yeah.
think about. And it was just this guy for like 12 of those years. So to now be at 8 employees, this upshift program, getting people cars from scratch, has just blown us up. It's been unique because when I came to Sioux Falls, I said, hey, I've got this great thing to help repair people's cars. And everybody I talked to in nonprofit said, that's cool. My client needs a car. Like, straight up needs
Right.
it. Something happened to
Yeah,
their
yeah.
last car, so you can't fix it. And frankly, it's so great to have both programs, because shift is great. Fixing cars, we turn a $1,500 bill into like a $300 bill for people. That's amazing. But when
Yeah.
you bring me a 230,000-mile Caravan and the transmission slipping, I can't fix your way out of that. You need a car.
Right.
So
Right.
let's have a different discussion. And so it's so great to be able to have this available and go, okay, let's look at something else. And here's the other thing. It's complicated, but it's awesome. Since we're a dealership and we're selling cars, a lot of times it's not worth it for you to put $2,000 in a $4,000 vehicle, because you're paying retail for repairs. And even if you're going to utilize shift, there's repairs you need, like a transmission, that shift
Yep.
is not going to do. with
And you
volunteer
can't.
labor.
Right. Right.
So many times we can take that car in on trade, because I can put a transmission in it on the upshift side. So we'll take it, get it to somebody, at the same time giving you a down payment to get into a car that suits your needs. So now,
Yeah.
instead of you getting a solution, 2 families are going to get a solution because that happened. So it's kind of a blessing in disguise. And it helps fund what we're doing at the same time. It just works out for everybody. So it's super cool we can do stuff like that, and help people in all kinds of different ways. It's really has been our goal and our mission to help people in poverty achieve reliable transportation. And we've taken a lot of different avenues to do that. We adapt to what we see and what people need. There's a couple new, I'm waiting to see if you're going to ask me about new programs, because there's some stuff we want to do
Nope,
in the
not
future
yet.
that we...
Not yet. That'll be the
Okay.
next time, Joe.
Okay.
The next
Then
time.
there's
You have to
nothing.
come
We're
back.
done. We've capped. There's no future.
No,
This
we'll
is
talk.
it
We'll
as
get
far
to
as we're
future in
going.
a second. We'll
No,
get
no,
to future
I
in a
know.
second. Yeah.
No, but yeah. What's your next question?
So how do you avoid compassion fatigue? Like, what keeps you going?
Oh, yeah, that's an interesting question. I'm curious why I feel so much for single moms. I didn't have a single mom. I had 2 loving parents who were pastors, and we ate at the table, and we had a very idyllic childhood. And maybe that's why. I mean, I kind of joked about being a co-parent of 3 kids and not imagining what single parenting would be like, but my heart goes out to single parents that are doing it all on their own. And I have no experience with it. It just seems like it would be awful.
Right.
And so I don't have a lot of fatigue on that. I get tired of people giving fake stories real quick. People that come in and call 8 times in a row trying to pester us into doing something, that I can get tired of. But people that are legitimately going through problems, again, this goes back to the thing we said in the beginning. It's just how I'm wired. I'm wired to care for those people. I really think I'm uniquely suited to do this. My wife and my son are in Africa right now on a missions trip, so I'm not going to say anything bad about that. It's great, and a lot of people love doing that. It
Yeah.
just never made sense to me to try to learn Spanish or something else to
Well,
go
they're
to
not
an
speaking
area that
Spanish in
I
Africa, Joe.
no, they're not. But
They're
I mean,
not.
most of
Okay.
the world speaks Spanish. To learn Spanish to go somewhere that I don't fit in a culture I don't understand and try to help people that way. That seemed really inefficient for me anyway.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
just sitting where I am and helping people that are right here with a problem that's not being addressed just made way more sense to me. Again, missionaries are great. We totally need people to do that. It just wasn't my thing for sure. So cars are my wheelhouse. I know how to do that. That helps change people's lives and show them Jesus. I mean, we had a lady here 2 weeks ago, and she said, I think I told you this. She
Yep.
said, "Thank you for saving my life." But what she was door dashing for a living, and so her car was her living. That got taken from her, and we got her a really low cost option. And I said, we didn't do anything. God wanted you to have this car. Somebody brought it in here and gave it to this organization. He said to give it to you. We gave it to you. It doesn't.
Yeah.
I don't have anything to do with that.
Right.
I'm working for him, and he'll get really upset if I don't do it. So
Yep.
good for you. That worked out in your
Right.
favor this time.
Right.
But I'm the guy that has to say the no's too. So
Yeah.
it's not. You don't just get to
It's
do
not
that
always
all the
fun.
time.
Right.
No, no, it's not. I guess that'd be another thing that surprised me was. Did you know the IRS is not right all the time? I thought they like really had their
Wow.
stuff together. And
Really?
3 different times they've told me I didn't do something that I absolutely did, and it takes
Uh-huh.
like 6 months to convince them that you did that thing. And at one time I got in trouble with the IRS because they said I didn't do a thing. They sent me a letter that said, "We're going to auction off all your stuff." And I said, "The what? The what now?" Let me send you the bank statement where I made that payment
Right.
and got it cleared up. So that was one of the things when we got a certain level of money. I said, "Hey, guess what we're passing off next? All the IRS tax stuff. Send it to a professional. Joe's way done. Calling the IRS and deal like that's over. Those people are worth the money." So
All right. So you teased it, and I didn't want to do it, but I'm going to do it. So where do you hope Shift Garage is in 5 years?
well, I hope Shift Garage in 5 years is adapting to whatever the world looks like and helping people achieve reliable transportation. A couple of the things that we're looking at right now are so we did car repair, and that was awesome. That was like 80% of the problem, so it was
Yep.
great. Then we said like the 230,000 mile caravan with a bad transmission. That doesn't help them at all. So now we're offering vehicles, and that fixed another 10% of the problem. So now we're at 90%. We can help almost everybody. How do we help the people that even I can't get approved through the bank? With our program at a reduced rate, there's still good people that need a car. So we're
Yeah.
looking at some different options with local banks. What if we had a fund and we had some skin in the game? So there's a banking term for this. Somebody listening will know what it is. I totally AI'd it to figure out what it was. But there's a fund where, let's say, I give Chris a loan on this car. You thought it was borderline, but we put him through our financial education, our car maintenance. We believe his story. We're going with it. If he defaults, we eat a certain percentage of that ourselves.
Yeah.
Would that make the bank even more likely? Like, let's say, I'm making up round numbers. Let's say a 580, they won't loan under it. Could I get them to consider a 540 credit score if we have some skin in the game? We put them through education before.
Yeah.
That takes a lot more work on our part. Frankly, from a business standpoint, a lot of things we want to do to help people don't make sense from a business standpoint. It's a pain in the butt. We got to
Right.
track all that. We got to educate
Right.
people just to get a buyer on a car that was going to sell in 2 days from somebody that had the money anyway. It's not worth it on paper, but if your goal is to help people and you see these
Absolutely.
people and they're real people that really need the help, then it becomes worth it. And that's kind of what the whole reason Upshifts exists. Nobody wanted to go after these the buy here, pay here's were just had their lay of the land because who wants that client with rough credit, tough to deal with? Nobody wants to do that. And so it took a nonprofit to come in and offer a solution because no for-profit, it just wouldn't be worth it. It's not worth the effort. Sell nicer cars to middle-class people, it's way easier than doing this. So that's part of the reason that never got addressed. I do think it's interesting. This is a little bit futuristic, but I just took a trip and I was down in like Southern California, and there's so many Teslas. I mean, their electric cars are everywhere. Every car that's not a Tesla is a Jaguar Waymo. And there's, I mean, that stuff, we know, that stuff feeds into the middle of the country. We're 5 years behind, and it'll come. Electric cars are really interesting. They're the only fluid in the whole car is windshield washer fluid. There's very little maintenance to be done. That's going to affect us. It's going to take a while. Yeah. But that'll affect us, and it'll be weird. And are we going to be replacing battery? I don't know what we're going to be doing to these things.
Right.
But it'll hit eventually. So yeah, that's an interesting one. And then the reason I was talking to some grant makers, we're looking at a program. Boy, you're early on this. Nobody knows about this. So we're looking at a program where we make vans available to foster families that want to bring a child or multiple children into their home but don't have the vehicle to do it. Those families are faced with a unique set of problems because it's foster care and you don't know how long it's going to last.
Right.
So it's probably not worth selling your Accord and buying an Odyssey. It's probably not worth that at all. But then you rent a car. So I looked up like a 12 or a 15 passenger van from Enterprise Rent-A-Car. It's like $3,500 a month. Or even a Dodge Grand Caravan's like $1,600 a month. You do that for a couple of months and you're like, well, maybe we should have bought.
Right.
But you don't know how long you're going to have the kid. And so we were approached by a foster care organization that said, and I believe they were correct, Shift is in a unique position to run kind of like a fleet of vans available to these foster families in a very flexible.
Yeah.
As long as they need it, and then not when they don't need it. And again, I don't think that would make sense for whoever the franchise dealer is in your area that runs Ford Transit vans or something. They're going to lose a ton of money renting those out. And Enterprise has to charge $3,500 to work out on their end. We could do it at half to a third as much, provide it to the families, be super flexible, and even included in that cost is the replacement amount for the vans once they wear out. At half on the minivans and a third on the 12 passenger vans, we could rent it to. So that's another thing we're looking at. It's a super interesting idea. Not my idea, but a really cool, creative idea. And I do think when I'm racking my brain, I don't know who else could offer that for these families. And so if we can make that happen, we're gonna. So.
All right, Joe.
Stuff like that. Again, just figuring out what the needs are and figuring out. I do think it's a lot like a church, a nonprofit.
Yeah.
You could have 27 different programs, and you would.
Yes.
The quality would definitely go down.
Yeah.
So we need to be super invested and passionate about whatever we do. Right now we have 2 programs. So if we started a third, we would have to be all in on that. It's not a side thing.
Right. Correct.
Yes, and not like 4.
No, absolutely. So before we go into a little, fun moment, I have probably the toughest question for you.
Oh gosh.
Because we kind of sort of talked about.
If you say Packers anything, I'm gonna.
No, it has nothing to do with Packers. Okay. I won't. It has nothing to do with that. But we kind of talked about it, before and things like that. So, and when I ask you the question, you'll understand. So, if resources weren't a limitation, what would you build?
Well, we would build the first ever purpose-built location for this. In fact, when I'm saying that, I can't think of another car ministry that has done it either. We're all in spaces that were something else before. But certainly for us, it would be unique to we talk about it too. What would a standalone Shift garage look like? Like an area to do education in, and enough bays and rooms that frankly, you could have Bible studies in for the volunteers or the people that we're serving, or what would that look like to actually do that? So certainly that. In Sioux Falls, probably 2 locations. When your city gets big enough, and Sioux Falls is very like that. There's East Side and West Side, and we talk about like East Side people and West Side. My daughter, I just went over there, and she's like, "There's a Target and a Menards and all this stuff over here." I'm like, "Yeah, there's just a copy of the West Side on the East Side. It's the same.
Yeah.
Whatever one does, the other does." But when you're helping people in poverty that already are having a problem with their car, they can't always drive across town to get to the resource. Their car is broken. That's the reason we're helping them in the first place. So having Sioux Falls may be big enough to warrant 2 locations. Certainly we would get to do better advertising and let people know that we're here. And in Sioux Falls, that would mean a lot more car donations, which would really help our margins out, help us help more people get vehicles to people cheaper. That would accomplish a lot of things. But then I think another thing for me, and I've talked to 2 other directors of pretty large car programs about just helping people get these started everywhere. You know, if you're in Fort Collins, Colorado, and you're like, I think I could use something like this. Yeah. I certainly want to give you all the support I can and tell you I've got bumps and bruises and scars and could tell you how to avoid a lot of those. But what if we had actual resources to just bring you, the book? Yeah. And what's cool about, so there's one in Fargo, North Dakota, and there's one in Omaha, Nebraska, and we're kind of the 3 biggest, certainly in the Midwest, but the 3 biggest I'm aware of. And we all do it in a different way. And so it would be super cool to partner and go to people and go, I don't know how Fort Collins works. I don't know your industries and your economy, but one of these has got to work. There's got to be a way you can make this happen. Or let's come up with your unique thing here, but actually have time to go out there and help the person get started and set it on the right foot and kind of have a network of these around. So lots of people are doing it. When you Google it now, it's not weird, but it's usually 6 or 8 people that do under 10 cars a year. And that's why when I say the 3 kind of the big dogs are doing hundreds of cars a year, like it's a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think when we talk about this, like I got kind of sad when I said, what if it's somebody that doesn't have this in their city and they're facing that situation? I think it should be in every city. I think it certainly can be.
Yeah.
It does take somebody like me, though, that wants to do it bad enough that they'll put up with the ones and the bad days. You've got to have something driving you to get through. There's a lot of red tape. When you set up with the state, they don't know. No one's ever done this before. And they go, you're giving away cars? We don't have a
right. Right.
Like, we're going to count it as a sale because we don't know what to do with it. And you've got to, there's stuff like that you've got to figure out. Or you'll mess people up. They'll go down to register the car and the state's mad at them. And those are all bumps and bruises we learned a long time ago. But if you don't know, you're going to encounter all of them again when you go to start. So the main thing, I'm getting off topic again, but
you're good.
The main thing for the person in Fort Collins starting it that always comes up is the liability and the insurance. The what ifs. What if we do a brake job and somebody hits a kid because their brakes didn't work, or and you do kind of, I've seen a lot of these ministries, you kind of fake it till you make enough that you can afford the insurance. But it's you grit your teeth and check every lug nut twice. Oh boy.
Right.
Let's not mess up.
Yep.
But that stuff happens. We've been very lucky, but I've been to a couple of professional places that didn't get all the lug nuts tight and a wheel falls off. Professionals do that. Right. So yeah, you got to be really. There's a plus side and a downside to the car. Is important. It's also important, and make sure the wheels don't fall off. And yeah.
All right, we're gonna end with a little bit of fun. We're gonna do a lightning round, Joe. So here are some questions for you. And you ready? First car.
My first car.
Yep.
Okay, you're gonna like this. You're gonna like this rebuttal because you know me so well. That ran. Or my first car.
Yes, your first car that ran.
Okay, my first car that ran was a 1974 Chevy Suburban with a 427 dump truck engine somebody had put in it. It was on 33-inch tires with a winch, and it didn't look that great. It was two-tone brown from 1974, so I bedlinered the entire Suburban, the whole thing. So I remember my friends would, outside of church, they'd be either petting it or trying to scratch it with a key, which you couldn't do.
You do either
And
one.
I would just take it to the wand wash and wash it with the tire brush. It was awesome. I don't know how many times I came out of like Walmart and people are just like petting the hood of the
Oh, that's
Suburban.
funny.
It was a great
That's
thing.
so
And
funny.
also got 6 miles to the gallon with that engine in it. So
It's beautiful.
not we've gone green since then.
You can't
Any
afford
vehicle
that anymore.
is-
You can't
No,
afford that.
no. Gas was cheaper back then.
Yes, it was. All right. What was your favorite vehicle you've ever owned?
Oh, I can't forget about it. It was also one of the worst vehicles to me that I've ever owned, but it was my I don't want you to think I'm bougie. I bought it wrecked,
Yep.
okay? I
Yep.
bought a 2012 Range Rover HSE, and it was like if you gave me millions of dollars to develop my own car,
Yeah.
I would not have changed where one button was, how the leather felt. It was Joe's car. It was made for me. At the same time, it was so bad to me. It broke down. It's a British car. It broke down all the time. Parts were so expensive. I bought used parts that were more than I've ever paid for that part brand new. That was so expensive to fix it myself.
Right.
You never were confident you were going to get where you were going to go. And I was just telling my mechanic the other day, I said, you're not going to believe me. There is nothing at the parts store. I mean, I had to order wiper blades for this thing. They don't
Oh my
have
gosh.
anything. So
That's
I said
crazy.
only I could own it. Because if I need brake pads, I would just take a different car home for 2 weeks
Right.
until those came in and I could fix it.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
have to have at least 2 cars to own a Range Rover. It was so bad. But every day I got to drive it and it
Yeah.
ran,
You're like,
was
this is amazing. This is
I
amazing.
feel like a Jeep owner. I'm like, I love this thing. It's in the shop all the time. It's a piece of junk, but I just love it so much.
What's your dream car?
I'm not kidding. I think about that car every day. Love that
That's
car.
funny.
My dream
what's your dream
car is the Ford GT40, or for
Okay.
real Ford people, it's just a GT, but everybody knows it's a GT40. And it is my goal in life. If I'm really successful and work really hard, I can maybe one day own a fake one. So that's my goal. I think a GT for the street is going for about 350,000 at the moment. So
Pocket change, Joe.
yeah, I can
Yeah.
rent one. I don't know. Yeah, quite a
I
bit.
think I
An
know this
expensive
answer.
taste.
Yeah. Yeah, you do. That is for sure. I think I know this answer. At least I feel like your favorite road trip.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be. It was a 2-parter, so I just finished up Route 66. So we did the first
Nice.
half 3-4 years ago, and then just finished the second half out to the coast in California, and picked this year because it's the 100th anniversary of Route 66. So got to do that with my dad and my son the first time, and then them and my youngest daughter this time. So 3 generations of the family to get to do that. It was super cool. Just, it's still there. There's still some cool stuff. If you liked the movie Cars, you would love it. All that
Yeah.
stuff is there. So
It's good.
got to see the real Mater that Disney based the character off of, and yeah, lots of cool stuff. It was a great trip.
Coffee or energy drinks in the shop?
Well, both, but coffee first. How's that for an answer?
What's
Coffee. If I had to cut one,
what's your? I want to see if you'll say this. What is your favorite coffee to drink, Joe?
oh man, I don't even feel good about it. But
Say
currently, it's actually Scooters is where I go to coffee.
Oh no,
that what-
Specific
oh, what are you saying?
Specific coffee drink that you would order, Joe. I was
Oh,
in
you're
the
thinking
car
of
with
something
you
else
when you
because
ordered it.
I get a mocha at Scooters because that's what's good. What did I get? You're talking about Starbucks. What did I get?
Yes, I am. Your pumpkin.
Not the caramel macchiato.
No, your pumpkin.
Oh, well, now look.
Say
After
the order.
fall, I will be a basic white girl all Christmas long with that pumpkin spice latte. I don't even care. I'll say it. I'll own it. Yeah. After Thanksgiving, we don't go to Scooters anymore. That's over. Yeah. PSL.
Oh my gosh. Oh jeez Louise.
Look,
Best
I'm secure in
mechanic
my manhood, okay? I don't have to.
best mechanic advice you've ever received.
Best mechanic advice I've ever received. Oh boy.
Don't buy a Range Rover.
Yeah, I didn't receive that, obviously. There's a lot of cars to not buy. Spray penetrating oil on it the day before you're going to take it apart. How about that? And
All
Sioux
right.
Falls, for sure. A lot of times when we do the estimate and we think they're going to do the work, we spray
Yeah.
the bolts with penetrating fluid. So by the time they pay and come back next week, that's already been working on that bolt and nut, and it'll help you out a lot if you can be patient.
What's something people should do to make their cars last longer?
I'm all cliches today, but it's more true than it's ever been. Change your oil. And I'm not even a 3,000 mile guy. I'm totally fine with 5,000 miles. But don't forget it. Don't go to 6. And it doesn't have to be, well, I probably wouldn't use Walmart oil, but it doesn't have to be anything even special.
Sure.
I do really like some of the technology we're seeing with Valvoline Restore and Protect. It's going in and cleaning old, and they say if you run it long enough, it'll clean up to 100% of deposits, and literally it kind of makes the engine young again. You gotta be careful with
crazy.
that. If you have a leaking
Sure.
engine and you start cleaning stuff, it might start leaking a lot worse because the hole was plugged up. So
Yeah,
be
yeah, yeah,
careful.
yeah,
But
yeah.
far and away, it matters so much more than it ever did before. Change your oil, and a lot of that. This is going to sound weird if you don't know, you don't know. A lot of the timing chain failures are because little bitty ports are getting clogged up, and it can't. The timing chain tensioner is held by oil pressure, and so if that little port gets clogged up, it makes the timing chains go out faster. I know that sounds crazy, but it's another reason why the Renew and Protect is a good idea, because if you can keep that port clean and it gets a full supply of oil pressure, it makes the likelihood of it lasting longer a reality. So it is super important. 5,000 miles, it's great. 95, 100, 105, 110, super easy to remember. But don't go to 6, don't go to 7. Change it. So, absolutely.
All right, Joe, we are officially now coming to the end. What is
Okay.
the best way if people wanted to help your organization connect with you, to know more about Shift Garage? What is the best way to get in contact with you or Shift?
Well, this guy Chris at True North Creative just made us an awesome new website, and I got like 3 compliments on it this week, actually. So it's incredible. You should definitely go to shiftgarage.org and check that out. Any nonprofit's going to say financial donations, obviously.
Right.
We are not clear of that yet. We could still use financial donations for sure. That would help us develop some programs like that crazy fund I was talking about that would get people approved. That's going to change lives, and we need money in that fund. Prayer, we take super seriously. It's not a like, if you can't do this, do this. Prayer can be more important than the financial gift. If you're steadfast with that and we see fruit from it, absolutely. If you're in South Dakota, it would be great to just refer people that say, hey, you need a $5,000 car and you need it to be reliable. Go to Shift, because these guys are not just trying to make money. That's not their motivation. They're actually trying to help you out. So a used car is a used car, and you never know what's going to happen. But at Shift, we sure are trying, and we do an inspection report on it. We like to drive them as much as we can ourselves before it goes to somebody, and we are not putting any lemons out on the lot. We certainly check them over well enough to know that it's a solid car when it leaves here. Again, it's a used car, and nobody knows what's going to happen on some of these, but we've done every due diligence we can possibly do, and in the sub 10,000 range, that's really hard to find. There's a couple lots in town that buy them from the auction and just put them right out front, broken, check engine lights on. They're not looking at anything. And so if you don't know
Right.
what you're looking at, you could be buying a real problem. So yeah, refer people to it. Just tell people. We really just need to be known, especially in Sioux Falls. We've been in Rapids so long that it's less of an issue. But
Known, yeah.
yeah,
Where can
For sure.
people find you on social media?
you would know that better than me because you're my guy. Like Facebook, Instagram. Facebook is kind of where I've focused most of the energy all this time. Just Shift Garage. You should find us. There's another small thing out in like the East Coast called Shift Garage, but it's mostly us. And again, if you want to get something like this started in your town, do not hesitate to reach out. I would love to talk to you about that because I want to help get them started everywhere. People need the help. We talked about the ones, we talked about the low days, the
Yep.
day you didn't put oil back in the car, and I totally get
Yep.
that. But over the whole thing, it's absolutely a super fulfilling job to hand the keys back to a single mom that didn't know what she was going to do when she broke down and get people car. It is worth it. It's super fulfilling overall. Maybe that random Tuesday, it's going to suck. It's just going to suck.
Right.
It's going to be really
Right.
bad. But
Right.
overall, it's awesome. It really is. I wouldn't want to go, oh gosh, what industry do I want to put down? But I don't want to sell insurance all day or go,
Right. Yeah.
you know,
Yep. Yep.
it's a living, but this is ultimately very fulfilling. So, yeah.
That's great, Joe. Well, thank you very, very much. I am super proud
Yeah,
of you.
thanks for having
I'm
me, man. It's cool to be the
excited
first
for
one.
everything you got going. And I will, well, I mean, I'll definitely see you again soon because I have to come out
hope
and
so.
get some more stuff. But
You have to come
super
because
excited for you.
I didn't give you this microphone, Fuzzy, when you were
Yeah,
here
and
last
I
time,
didn't
so
give
still-
him his sunglasses back either. So
I forgot about that. Gosh,
yeah, he probably bought a new pair by now.
you got to come
but
back
no.
now.
Joe, thank you again very, very much. And
Yeah.
I hope all the best for you.
Yeah, thanks, man. I hope all the best for this podcast. So I hope you get some cool guests on here and get a following and really get to speak to people through this platform.
It's going to be fun.